Alright guys, we are back. LFA 101, the undefeated. I mean, this whole fight card basically has a bunch of guys that are undefeated. Every single fight on the fight card, even the prelims, have guys that are undefeated. 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-0, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 0-0. 4-0. I mean, they all have undefeated fighters, and we have one right here that has two undefeated fighters, Jalin Fuller and Treston. Jalin Fuller 4-0. He has a couple of fights inside the LFA, 3 wins inside the LFA by unanimous decision against Andrew Lip. 1-1 fight outside the LFA. I'm not really sure why he left the LFA to go get a nice knockout win over Kimoy Anderson. Went back to the LFA. Got a TKO win over Gabe Rodriguez, and then another submission win over Miles Amos around 3.5 months ago. Treston Vines is a pretty weird fighter. He usually goes out there and kind of does this for a little bit, like 2 minutes into each one of his fights. He just sits there and throws a couple jabs. Doesn't really go in for the right hand. He kind of seems a little bit scared to go in there and put that right hand. But in it, I believe it was his first fight against Ben Leon. I mean, he landed a bunch of right hands, probably 20 right hands landed in that fight. It was pretty crazy. He got a nice right hand landed, got a double leg, took him down, and then got the TKO win over Ben Leon in his first fight. Then fought Alden Davis. Pretty even on the feet, landed some head kicks, landed some good right hands. Brought the fight to the ground, I believe, midway through that first round, and then landed a bunch of ground and pound strikes. But again, 0-3, probably 0-4 or 0-5 right now. I mean, not the best fighter to be facing, but he still ended up winning the fight by first round TKO against this other fight against Ben Delian, 0-1. Not the best competition. Got a second round TKO win. Yet again, got a double leg. This is probably his toughest competition to date. But again, he got another second round TKO win over a 4-2 fighter in Brian McDowell. Then got a first round TKO win over 1-5 Cedric Johnson. Again, not the best competition, but he showed in the fight. He actually got clipped in the fight with a left hand. Took the fight to the ground again with another double leg. Got the fight down and landed a lot of good shots in the mount. Got his back and just started raining down shots to the side of the ear on Cedric Johnson. Won the fight by first round TKO. So mainly his striking seems to be even with most of his fighters. He has a slight edge in most of his fights, but again, not against the best fighters. But usually his go-to way to win his fights is to get the fight to the ground. He doesn't really go for the submissions. He usually tries to land as much shots as he can and tries to get the ref to stop the fight as soon as possible. That is the main way he likes to win his fights. Just get the fight to the ground and get ground and pound wins, TKO wins over and over and over again. That is what he does in most of his fights. Jalin Fuller, a little bit different. He also likes to get some TKO wins. Has a pretty good grappling game. Has some good submissions. Some good submission skills, sorry. His first fight against Andrew Lip, his first fight inside the LFA, won the fight by decision. A pretty good striking performance, got the fight to the ground a couple of times in the fight, and landed some good shots. Went for a couple submissions, didn't get any, won the fight by unanimous decision. Not the best fighter, again. I believe he's 1-3 right now. Yeah, 1-3, not the best fighter. Went out of the LFA, I'm not really sure why. But got a first round knockout win, went back inside the LFA, got a 12-second TKO, caught him with a big right hand, got the fight to the ground, and landed a lot of good ground and pound shots. Again, 0-5 fighter, not the best competition yet again. But his most recent fight, I mean, this was a really tough fight for him. This guy was an undefeated fighter, 3-0 as well. And he was actually the underdog in the fight, as you guys can see here. -175 slight favorite. He was actually +145, slight underdog to win the fight, and he ended up winning the fight. It was a very, very close fight in the striking game. Look at all this. Literally everyone who was predicting the fight thought that Amos was going to win the fight. But he went out there and he looked good on the striking, pretty even striking game. I'd probably give the edge, a slight edge to Amos. But Amos is a very good striker in his own right. Jalin Fuller just at the end of the third round got the fight down. Got some good ground and pound shots, and then got in the front choke submission. Really good submission skills for Jalin Amos in that, or sorry, for Jalin Fuller in that fight. He's 4-0. His opponent is also 4-0. So this fight should be a very, very good fight. Treston Vines, his main way to go in the fight, get the fight to the ground, landed a lot of good ground and pound shots. Jalin Fuller, his main way to win the fight, maybe keep it up for a little bit, try to defend the takedowns of Treston Vines, and once Treston Vines goes a little bit crazy on those right hands, maybe gets a takedown of his own, Jalin Fuller gets a fight on top of Treston Vines, Treston Vines does not know what it feels like to get taken down. No one has ever taken down Treston Vines. No one has even attempted to test Treston Vines on the ground, go for a takedown on Treston Vines. So I think Jalin Fuller, he has the submission skills. He has the ground and pound skills on the ground and the wrestling skills to get Treston Vines to the ground in the second and third round. But for the first round, I'd say Jalin Fuller, keep the fight up. Try to defend those takedowns on Treston Vines. And if you can do that, I am going to be going with Jalin Fuller to win the fight. I'm going to stay by decision. It's very possible, like these people are saying right here, that he could get a knockout on the feet or even a TKO on the ground. Both fighters can definitely get a knockout in this fight, but I am definitely going to be going with Jalin Fuller. He has more experience inside the LFA. He just got an amazing front choke submission win over a 3-0 fighter inside the LFA a couple of months ago. That was a very good performance by Jalin Fuller in that fight, so I'm going to be going with Jalin Fuller to win the fight, most likely by decision. Who knows? Maybe he gets another submission in the fight. Maybe he gets another TKO in the fight. Maybe he keeps the fight on the feet the whole time. He gets a knock in the fight. But guys, do not rule out Treston Vines in the fight. He definitely has a lot of skills on the ground. Has some pretty good ground and pound, could get a TKO in the fight, but I think Jalin Fuller is just a little bit better on the ground, has better submission skills, has better ground and pound, and is better on the feet. I think the whole all-around skills from Jalin Fuller is going to be enough to get him the win, and 5-0, here we come for Jalin Fuller, and the first loss for Treston Vines in the fight. That is my prediction for this co-main event, in my opinion, for this LFA 101, the undefeated fight card. This fight is going to be a very interesting fight. I can't wait to see it, but I'm going to be going with Jalin Fuller to win the fight by unanimous decision.